Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for March 29th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 13. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and within that, the Continuity Report is co-hosted by the sentient AI from the future, from on high. Their mysterious voice will be glamorously flowing about your head soon. Or maybe not. I don't know. You want to say hi?
Maybe unglamorously.
Unglamorously.
Woo.
Yeah, the visualizer is working again. Yay. Well, along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 articles in the Continuity Report and then all of our shows from today. So the very first show we did is RealityHacker and then Wanted, and this is the Continuity Report. And so we merge them together and they become the Saturday edition of Non Sequitur News. So you can get it all in one big 2-hour bundle, probably longer than that at this point. But anyway, you can get it all as one big bundle over on YouTube and by downloading it from wherever you catch pod. But we're going to be talking about My Cousin Vinny reboot, Blade Runner 2099 series, Skarsgård, the murderous robot, Lincoln Lawyer Season 4, and Final Destination Bloodlines. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over there and become a citizen, and you too could submit news to us. Even sources, just send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com. That said, we're also going to be, I used to have submissions and stuff like that on the site, but I'm trying to reduce the overhead of what the site is burdened by. And so I want to start doing it via the Discord. Maybe anybody who is interested in it, there is a channel that's already set up so that you can submit news. You can submit news anywhere and I'll get it. Anyway, we'll check in on you here in a little bit. All right, let's get into this. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt. Hello, hometown citizens.
Look at that. The little wigglers are just going like crazy over there in that visualizer. Still want a different one just so that it's more matched to what I see, which is a cascade of weird characters similar to the Matrix.
Right, not all chaotic like this.
Right, yeah. And while I can see the woman in the red dress, most people, well, nobody else can, really. I mean, you have to watch the Matrix. All right, let's get into this. Ralph Macchio says that My Cousin Vinny reboot has kicked off, and there's conversations. It's about finding the smart angle in.
I did not know we were going to have a reboot of My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio has said that My Cousin Vinny reboot conversations have begun. The actor explaining what important elements would need to be involved in the new version. The 1992 legal comedy sees Macchio's Bill Gambini get arrested for a murder he didn't commit, leading him to seek defense through his cousin Vinny, Joe Pesci. A newly approved lawyer. I would say newly minted would probably be the right.
I'm not sure approved is correct.
Yeah, he barely approved, maybe. So Vinny is considered one of Pesci's most iconic roles, with the film being both critical and financial success when it was released. However, it never received any film continuation despite how well it performed. They're not going to even mention what's her name in this? Really? So far, they haven't said anything?
That's kind of surprising. I'm sure she's mentioned in here.
So, Nick...
I mean, she's part of the reason why this succeeds. I mean, a key part.
Yeah, it is the only reason it's... No, just kidding. Hold on. If you want all of the links to the 5 articles that we're talking about, you can hit !TCR. I'll do it the first time. The first one is free. So the 1992 legal comedy. 1992. It's 2025.
Okay. It's interesting how so much of Hollywood is going back to things that were hits from quite a while ago.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because I've been listening to other people, their podcasts, their streams and stuff like that, and a lot of people are noticing that dipping back into the well. So My Cousin Vinny reboot talks what they mean for the project. The proposed movie still has a long way to go. They have to figure out why it even makes sense to continue it, because this is a perfect story that has an end. The only thing that matters in My Cousin Vinny would be My Cousin Vinny, Joe Pesci coming back. There's nothing else, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's the only way it would really work.
Because if you do this bait and switch where Marissa Tomei suddenly becomes the attorney, right, following in Joe Pesci's...
It would not work.
Because she was brilliant, right?
Like, I could see that would be the progression of the story. But part of the reason this works so well is because of him being so ridiculous in the attorney role. Like, she'd be a good attorney, I think, from how her character was set up.
Yeah. So they say their take on My Cousin Vinny reboot talks is a new movie necessary, and that's where we're coming from. I think My Cousin Vinny, it stands all on its own. It has legs. It still persists today. It doesn't need any extension. The only thing you could do really would be that he becomes a success and doesn't need to bumblefart his way through a case where at the 11th hour he figures out how to solve this problem.
But she really helps him get there, right? Marissa Tomei's character.
Yeah, how she got actually accepted in a court case as a subject matter expert would never happen in the real world.
It made for good comedy.
Yeah, you have to suspend disbelief. So Macchio's ideas for Pesci to be involved in My Cousin Vinny reboot indicates the actor has a lot of passion for the project, finding a way to honor its legacy. However, given how much a classic 90s comedy it is, a modern take on the film will have a much more difficult time measuring up to its predecessor. Could be possible, but where is the original writing that becomes canon that they could actually leverage, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I don't believe this came from a novel or anything, right? I think it was just a screenplay, a good one at that. But
yep, this actually comes from People magazine, I think. Like this article is stemming from People magazine. The article is by Nick Bithrow over at screenrant.com. So I forgot to give credit because I was so excited about this. I love My Cousin Vinny. I can't count how many times I've watched that movie. Marissa Tomei basically steals the show. I actually have used that phrase from Top Dead Center, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And my biological clock is ticking. There's a lot of things.
Well, and also Joe Pesci's, like, what is a grit? And just other things. The prosecutor, like, there's so many things that, like, outlive the movie.
Doing the holding your hands up thing.
Exactly.
This and that. I've done that too. I'm telling you, that and A Fish Called Wanda are basically these two that, amongst many, many, many movies that I've watched that have manifested in the real world in casual conversation at a bar or dinner table or something. This is a lot of fun. So I don't know. What could they possibly do? It just says, I've had conversation with other writers about that. Yeah, that's one of a beloved piece. It's about finding the smart angle in. But I don't think it needs to be. You know? Do you think another one needs to be? If you have a differing opinion, then throw it in chat, or you can even send me an email.
It's going to be so hard to top the original. But that's the thing.
Yeah. And you can actually leave a message by going over to voiceline.app/shows/NSN. And you can leave a message there. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, let's move on to the next article. Hold on. I need to go back to the chat just in case somebody throws something in there. All right. So the next article is about Blade Runner. It's over in the WarCrafters channel. I'm not quite sure. Probably the source. No, it's Game Rant, actually. So Blade Runner 2099 will reportedly have a style closer to the original 1982 film that Denis Villeneuve had in the 2017 sequel. It was confirmed by one of the actors involved in the project. While the choice may seem unconventional, the upcoming Amazon Studio sci-fi miniseries could actually benefit from... Oh, really? Really? Did you see it?
It's inbound.
Oh, no. Sorry. You might see a wild animal that has free reign to the mayoral mansion walking behind me. Don't worry about my health. It'll wait to eat me after the show. Anyway, so when you click this little link here, it'll take you over to the source. The source is Game Rant and Sandip Kishan and Bulsilvan. Yeah, there we go. Gave it my Harvard try. Never went to Harvard, so you just got to try. So the decision to mirror the first film's aesthetics is a deliberate move that signals a return to the cyberpunk storytelling. I was told that Alien exists in the same universe, the same time frame. Oh, yeah, there she goes.
Yeah, that's an... I was trying to give you a warning. That's an interesting juxtaposition. I do think the Blade Runner going back to the original is a good move.
Yeah, but apparently it's in the future, but going back to the old styling. And now we just recently watched or rewatched both of the Blade Runner movies. And I don't know, I'm starving for more Blade Runner.
You know, there's elements of the 2049 that I like better just because it's more modern. But I think the original was more... I don't know, compelling or something.
Yeah, I think so too. And the implications of the second one in the series is that they've become fully sentient and capable of reproduction. Oh shit, hold on. Wait. We have to do this. Spoiler alert.
Reverse spoiler alert.
Yeah, got to back up a little. Damn. Oh, and now it doesn't even matter that because I've already spoiled it. If you've never watched it, I'm sorry. You can send me a nasty gram, mayor@ohmtown.com. Any attention is good, I guess. Anyway, so the series will focus on LA's futuristic evolution, aiming to differentiate its 2099 setting from the previous installments. They're going to have to amplify the number of quote unquote skin jobs, the synthetics that are running around, which are, without looking under the cover, they are biologically identical to humans. They just supposedly have a clock, but offspring may not.
When they amplify, do you mean if they amplify their functionality or how they look or
their existence, the population, the number of them?
Oh, okay, got it.
Because supposedly only humans were still on Earth. All of the synthetics were off. So created by Silka Luisa, Blade Runner 2099 will serve as a sequel set in the year 2099, as the title suggests. Suggests? Never mind.
I think it's beyond suggestion.
I'll move on.
I think it's pretty explicit.
It's like getting hit by a bat and then telling somebody, I'm going to hit you with a bat.
Right. That was not an implication.
No. Fact. Anyway, the series continues the story of Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, set in a dystopian 2019, the events of Blade Runner 2049. Both sci-fi films set in Los Angeles and based on Philip K. Dick's 1968 novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep have set benchmarks for the genre. With such a legacy, the upcoming show has big shoes to fill. I think that this is pretty awesome. It'll lean more towards the 1982 movie style.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go back to the just different theatrical production, I guess, right?
And
like
stylistic,
elements, and
But it's further in the future, so I don't know how they're gonna, kind of make this happen. So why Blade Runner 2049 is difficult to imitate? It says Dune Prophecy couldn't match Villeneuve's vision, which I guess. Blade Runner 2099 Choosing to emulate the original film style doesn't imply anything negative about the 2017 sequel. If anything, it suggests the opposite. Blade Runner 2049 is almost... What is that? Imitable? Inimitable? So you can't imitate it. That's such a hard word for me to pronounce. Inimitable.
Yeah, it's not something that comes up all the time.
Yeah. And any attempt to replicate its bleak yet beautiful tone risks making the work feel lifeless and dull. So they say, take Dune Prophecy, for example. While it drew clear inspiration from Denis Villeneuve's Dune films, the HBO Max series struggled to recreate the same atmospheric and transcendent feel. And I would say that 1982, the original, is much more practical effects and grounded. There was very rare... There were scenes from scene to scene, but not the overall. Like everything in the original Blade Runner seemed to be very practical effects and grounded.
Yes.
Even the supernatural, not supernatural, but the super sci-fi aspects of it. But then Blade Runner 2049 took it to a different level, and it was largely like Dune, except for the inner city side of things. And then it was massive, yet not much population in the buildings, but massive population on the streets. It didn't make much sense, but you loved it nonetheless.
Right. Still dream.
Yeah. So it says here, comparing Ridley Scott's Blade Runner versus 2049. 2099 could be a bold cyberpunk dystopia. Again, they're going to have to drag forward the number and capability and the entrenchment of the synthetic humans, because they supposedly between 2049 and 2099 have 50 years of the potential of reproduction, because that's what happens with 2049. And again, it's been out so long, folks. I'm sorry that I don't have spoiler up there, but I could have that running all day. So while we're spending a lot of time on this, it's a really, the canon for this, the world building for this is tremendous. I think that it's going to be fun to see what could be, but if they wet the bed on this, there is no coming back. It's going to take somebody like Denis Villeneuve to...
Exactly. Wouldn't that be an interesting flip-flop?
Yep.
Like if it bombs and then they bring him back in and then they have a hit.
Yep. However, the city's design must feel like the world has evolved over 80 years, according to the story. A futuristic 2099 setting should feel different from the dystopian 2019 set of Blade Runner. Villeneuve's sequel did a solid job at showing around 30 years of urban evolution while staying true to the franchise's signature style. I agree. All of this is from 2049. The pictures that you see are from 2049.
Right, yes.
So it says, hopefully Tom Burke's comments refer only to borrowing the original aesthetics and not resorting to gimmicks like de-aging Harrison Ford's Rick Deckard or other forms of nostalgia baiting. Ridley Scott returns as an executive producer for the series, which is reassuring. The show stars Michelle Yeoh as Olwen, a replicant, nearing the end of her life, while Hunter Schafer's Cora is rumored to be a fugitive who teams up with her to expose a conspiracy. This seems like it's going to be massively divergent from anything else.
It does, but maybe that'll be okay.
Because
like if it's too close, but it doesn't quite get it, that could be a problem.
Yeah. But Michelle Yeoh, see, the thing about Michelle Yeoh is that there's a lot of like fandom around Michelle Yeoh.
Exactly. I think that's going to do enough. Although, I don't know, we saw something else I think she was in.
So what is the end of life now for a replicant? It was 4 years in the series, right? Wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Well, does not matter. We will watch this and we'll report out news from other people and make our own observations about it. But we need to keep moving. The next article is about Alexander Skarsgård that's going to be playing a murderous robot in an upcoming Apple TV Plus series. Again, I'm here for it. Looking for a new sci-fi watch to fill the Severance-shaped hole that after the explosive season 2 finale. we don't watch Severance. Have not been able to really get into it, but
No, but I know it's been a hit with some people.
All the rage. Yeah. I like the computer that they use, the little... We actually talked about it. 3D printing the case and making a monitor.
Yes. I was on location for that episode.
Yeah. It's a couple of episodes back. It's in the title too, so... at any rate, look no further as the upcoming Apple TV Plus sci-fi comedy thriller, it's a comedy thriller, Murderbot, is sure to pique the interest of genre fans with similar themes in corporate settings, including an employee uprising, futuristic biotech, and another mysterious corporation known only as The Company. There's certainly plenty of connective tissue. Oh, wait. I can say it like this, too.
The Company.
Oh, right. I mean, that definitely fits.
Well, let's go over to the source. Nicola Austin put the article together. It's over at GameRant.com. Is this... Hold on. This must be body armor. They're still a murderous robot. So
Right, yeah, I don't know what that's about.
So the show features a talented cast and directors, including Alexander Skarsgård and Chris and Paul Weitz. Murderbot offers a comedic take on the sci-fi genre with an intriguing mystery and potential for future seasons. It's going to be a comedic iRobot kind of thing, I bet.
Which is interesting. I don't know this actor, although he's been in a lot of well-known things. But, I mean, has he ever done comedy, for example?
Oh, I don't know. It's based on...
It doesn't look like it. It looks like everything is kind of like action or... Anyway.
Yeah, that's all I know him from. So it's a sci-fi comedy thriller named Murderbot, but it's based on a sci-fi book series called Murderbot Diaries. So that's good.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Are they going to stick to the book? Every time they diverge from a well-received canon, it wets the bed, and that drives me nuts. And so they talk about hit shows such as Silo, based on Graham Yost's trilogy of Wool, Shift, and Dust, where they're dipping into it, but apparently it's starting to diverge. I don't know to what degree, but when they diverge, it falls apart. Foundation, Isaac Asimov's iconic series, and Slow Horses, based on Mick Herron's spy series, have proved some of Apple TV Plus's best television shows yet. So I'm going to have to go and get this so I can...
Well, I agree, because all those that are referenced, at least, I know they're not being compared to it. It's just because they're on the same platform, but all of those have been good.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah. And this trilogy... This actually could extend further if I remember right. I'm not sure. Like, they don't have to stick to this timeline or anything. They can do other things, other silos.
But I don't remember if it's... for some reason, I think there's only one more season, but maybe that's not right.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard too, was that there was only one more season. But I don't know exactly what all can branch off from it. So, but all of these that are mentioned are great. Hopefully they get some really good writers. So I don't want to get into all of the other stuff. Oppenheimer star David Dasmalchian is set to play Gurathan, a scientist and another member of the Preservation Ox survey team.
That's unusual. By the way, I'm sorry, Silo has actually... It's going to have a season 4 as well.
So they signed up for season 4? Okay. So he's an augmented human who is highly suspicious of Murderbot, and he tries to convince the rest of the survey team that they can't trust him. So it's kind of like, what's the game with the little...
Among Us?
Among Us, yeah. It's going to be like a TV version of Among Us. Everybody votes. Between the commercials, everybody votes for who needs to be airlocked. So what is Murderbot about? Set in a futuristic and capitalist spacefaring society, Murderbot follows the titular. I got to use titular in this episode. Yay.
I mean, it's a necessity out of the continuity report.
At least, yeah. So, Sec Unit, cyborg security guard, as he's hired to protect a crew on a scientific expedition to an alien planet, despite being built to obey and protect humans, the self-titled android believes humans are jerks. He doesn't have to believe it. A lot of them are. So he's devoted all of his spare time to successfully overriding his governor module. So I don't know if there wasn't a spoiler warning. We don't really know. So
right, this seems to be more premise than anything. Like, I suspect most of this comes out probably in the intro to the show.
So the article says that he frees himself of his governor, but he does really like, it says, what?
Binging his favorite futuristic soap operas?
So he likes watching soap operas. All right.
Apparently, but they're like space themed.
Yeah. Particularly the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon. But when a dangerous encounter on an alien planet draws him closer to the scientific crew, he begins to develop inconvenient emotions and connections with humans, which make him uncomfortable.
I have to say, this sounds interesting.
Yeah, I agree. So it looks like some books are going to be on the horizon. So Murderbot is much more comedic slice of sci-fi rather than Severance and Silo, featuring hilarious narration from the titular android. Yay, too. Yet there's still an intriguing mystery at its heart, as the Sec Unit appears to be haunted by a mysterious past expedition. So I don't want to get too deep into this. I really don't. It's not that I'm going to be surprised or spoiled or anything like that. But what might happen, I don't really want to know.
Right, it'll ruin it if so for us and for the audience.
Yeah, for those who are watching or watch over on YouTube and later as a VOD. So I don't know. Let's bounce from this. And once the series starts, maybe we can do, depending on its quality and its, yeah, I mean, if it's really popular, then we'll talk about it. But anyway, we're looking for shows that we can actually talk about on top of the last show today. We do another, basically a longer form on one show, one movie.
Right, we're not doing one currently, but we're considering that.
Trying to figure it out. So, all right, let's keep going. The next episode is about Lincoln Lawyer, season 4. It says, might miss Harry Bosch, the cousin of
his
Harry
brother.
Bosch. I've gotten a little dyslexic today. Not enough caffeine, but Mickey can still win without him. I don't think that's ever been a problem.
But in the books, they're linked together. I think they're cousins or half-brother.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Lincoln Lawyer exists because of Harry Bosch. Like, it's a kind of like a spin-off from it.
Oh,
it's
interesting.
by the same author. Like, they're directly tied, and I think the characters cross over in some of the stories.
Right. Yeah, I know that sometimes they've crossed over, but I didn't know. See, like, I've never read the books. I've read little bits. I've watched all of Bosch and all of Lincoln Lawyer. But there's sometimes where I don't want to read the book because if it diverges from the book and it ruins everything because they're being creative.
Or worse, if you know what the story is, because some of the seasons are specifically, well, at least on the Bosch series. I don't know about on Lincoln Lawyer. I feel like that maybe has diverged, but possibly that's following the source material as well. But anyway, you might know the ending of a particular mystery or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really get spoiled by stuff because it's, you know, a big bottle of movie. But anyway, so the Lincoln Lawyer season 4 is going to drop on Netflix later this year. Hopefully. With Mickey Haller gearing up for a legal case of his life, needing all the help that he can get from his team. The Lincoln Lawyer character we're definitely not going to see on Mickey's defense team, however, is his half-brother. Hey, they just spoiled it. Detective Harry Bosch, whose on-screen intellectual property rights are in the hands of Netflix's streaming rivals, Amazon. Shows starring Barry, God bless America. So, shows starring Bosch, played by Titus Welliver, have racked up an enormous following of their own on Prime Video. So you click that little link right there, it takes you over to Screen Rant. So,
I can't think of that occurring before, where there's two linked shows, but they're on different networks. That's kind of interesting.
And you throw enough money at it and see if you can get a return on your investment. That's kind of how it works. Maybe they didn't think that their profit margin was going to be bigger with Lincoln Lawyer, because they already had them for season 4, than to try and fight for Bosch. Yeah, I don't know. So, let's see. According to the source material for the Lincoln Lawyer season 4, oh, should I do that? No, I feel like I need to.
Plus, I interrupted you from identifying the author and the source.
Oh, Guy Howie over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. That's not a spoiler. That's fact and already very apparent because it's right there.
That might be a spoiler.
Right there. Yeah, really. So according to the source material for the Lincoln Lawyer season 4, Michael Connelly's novel, The Law of Innocence, Harry Bosch should be helping Mickey Haller defend himself against charges of murder following his arrest at the end of season 3, because Amazon's exclusive rights to video media which includes Bosch, Netflix's Mickey Haller will just have to do without him. I'm going to remove that. So on the other hand, we already know that the Lincoln Lawyer season 4 is adding some new cast members to its episodes to help Mickey out, bringing his ex-wife Maggie McPherson into the fold. That was quite the reaction.
I don't have a problem with that actor, but I don't think that character is real key to the show. I think the one that they better keep, other than, of course, Mickey Haller, is Lorna. She really steals the show, I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Who does she act like in some other show?
Like Elle Woods.
Elle Woods. Yeah. She's
in fact, we did an article on that in a previous continuity. It was in a previous season of the Continuity Report.
Yeah. So, they say here, this represents the first real Haller-Bosch crossover in one of Michael Connelly's Lincoln Lawyer novel adaptations for the show since The Brass Verdict, on which the first season of The Lincoln Lawyer was based, with Mickey fighting for his life and up against prosecution lawyer Dana Berg. He seeks his half-brother's advice about angles from which to investigate who might have framed him. So, I guess by proxy they can utilize information from him, but I don't know how it's going to work out.
Well, or they'll just have to find another sympathetic or something, like cop or investigator or somebody who kind of stands in, not as him, but just somebody else assisting him.
So where in the timeline is this book, this source information, because Bosch is no longer a cop?
Right, but I think he's still a cop when this crosses over in the books.
Right. Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty certain. Because the Lincoln Lawyer, the original Lincoln Lawyer book is much earlier. I mean, they're kind of interspersed.
Right.
With the Bosch books.
So Bosch barely appears in the book, and his role in Mickey's defense team is minor. You say that too? Do you think that? Not sure.
I don't know.
So he only really features in one scene apart from secondhand reports. Oh, so that's what I was saying. They're going to have to do it by proxy. So when Bosch himself does star in a scene in which he advises Mickey, it's incredibly brief and involves two brief pieces of dialogue. And in the end, Harry Bosch gets almost no credit for his work, suggesting that it isn't actually very important to the case. So maybe that's how they're going to do it. It's really
interesting, but it says his name appears 119 times in the book. So it's like, it doesn't sound as insignificant, but maybe it doesn't really move the plot along. And maybe they're doing that just to kind of do a tie-in for those that were Bosch fans, but not necessarily on the Lincoln Lawyer series.
Yeah, so at the end, this is kind of what I felt was going to happen. was that they were going to lean on Neve Campbell's Maggie McPherson in the Lincoln Lawyer season 4 because they brought her back at the end of season 3.
Right. I think people were upset when she left the series. I think she was one of the original draws.
Yeah.
Or I suspect she was.
Yeah, they pulled her back. Like, this scene is where she gets pulled back. So we'll have to see. The Lincoln Lawyer, in the article at the bottom, they say the Lincoln Lawyer season 4 is a chance for the rest of Mickey's team to step up, and I think that's true. Lorna, Izzy, Cisco. Izzy's kind of been going through some troubles, and I don't think we really know what the disposition of that is at the end of the season 3. And Lorna and Cisco have gotten married, as far as I know.
Right.
And
and
so
Cisco's had a lot of
interesting
drama.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting season for sure. And I have to say that of any of the iterations of Lincoln Lawyer, I think this is the most compelling. This is the one that actually has the most personality.
Oh, yeah, I do too. Like, I like the movie, but it's nothing compared to the show.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to our last article, and that's over in the continuity report as well. Final Destination Bloodlines. If you've never heard of Final Destination, it's basically a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a YouTube channel that does kind of a deep dive into that, but I can't think of the name of the channel.
CZ's World, that guy?
Yes.
Yeah. So CZ's World, he does a historical, he discusses the history of horror. And so Final Destination Bloodlines trailer brings fans back to the beginning. New Line Cinema shared the official Final Destination Bloodlines trailer for the next installment of the popular supernatural horror franchise. The film will arrive in theaters May 16th, 2025. And again, you click the little link, you get taken over to our source, comingsoon.net. Pardon me one second. Oh, I'm about to sneeze.
Okay. Well, on that note, I mean, that's kind of an unusual reaction to horror.
Hopefully y'all didn't hear that. Anyway, Maggie De La Paz is the author. So I sneezed over what you said. So what?
I said that was kind of an unusual reaction to horror.
I'm allergic to Final Destination. I've watched like 2 of them. I think there's like 15 and a musical, and so the newest chapter of the bloody successful franchise takes audiences back to the very beginning of death's twisted sense of justice, reads the official synopsis. Plagued by a violent recurring nightmare, college student Stephanie heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. So this is Bloodlines. This is I guess there's a whole family, set of families that are cursed by death to meet their demise.
And I don't know what photos are going to be shown in this article, so it's possible there may be something not okay for younger viewers.
Yeah, so it says here, and I won't actually go into it all, but anyway, it says the first installment made about $660 million since 2000. The franchise has actually earned combined worldwide gross of over 660 million. I want to check something out real quick though. Let's do this live. Not on that. 1 second.
So this one will be number 6.
That's what I was pulling up. Do you know if they have the entire breakdown on like Wikipedia or something like that? My frustration is not directed at you. It's at my air gap. All right, let's keep going here.
Okay, yeah, we do have it. What do you want to know?
Money by movie.
Okay. So first one, 66 million.
Okay.
This
worldwide.
is kind of confusing.
No. Oh, I see it.
There's 2 with like the same name, so that's kind of confusing. But
Yeah, Final Destination and The Final Destination.
Exactly. So I'm not really sure with that. But anyway, the first one to release made 53 million.
In North America, 113 million worldwide.
Okay, number 2 made 46 million, so it dropped.
And 91 million worldwide.
And number 3, assuming that's actually number 3, is 54 million.
Yeah, 119 million worldwide. Go ahead.
And I don't know, The Final Destination seems to be number 4, but without a number, and that's 66 million.
Yep, 186 million worldwide. Yeah.
And then number 5 made 42 million, so that was actually the lowest one.
And 158 million worldwide. I'm rounding up. So this one, it's actually, in an interesting turn of fate, Final Destination, the franchise, has made 666 million worldwide.
Yes.
As of this time. A little over, but I'm rounding to the 660 because I want to. So interesting,
depending
right?
on the premise, since it's going back to the beginning, etc., and it has some, I think, some well-known cast. Maybe it'll be a big draw.
So this is his final movie. Tony Todd passed away. He was, him better as Candyman, but he's, I think, death in this. I don't remember. In his final movie appearance after he passed away last year at the age of 69. So this is the last movie that he's seen in.
I mean, that might be a draw right there.
Yeah.
It's interesting when there's posthumous movie releases. It seems like those are an appeal.
It's a fun movie. The first one, Final Destination, was fun because you could see how things kind of hopped from one location to another to basically deliver the demise of the person, and how they figured out the order by which people were going to meet their demise and stuff like that. It was fun. I got tired of it. And so if they can bring us back to the beginning, that's what this is apparently. How they're doing it, I don't really know. It just says they're bringing it back to somebody's going back home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle. But many people have tried only to meet their demise anyway.
Well, it'll be interesting too to see if they flash back or whatever to previous movies or how they connect it all.
And this is one of the people who have seen our show, and the look on their face is part and parcel to, oh my God, you're still streaming shows? Anyway. So we're going to have to put the film back into the can, and that means we're going to have to go back to the front page of the continuity report because we're done for today. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Mayor Watt. I'm saying bye, and I'm taking the AI with me. You want to say bye?
Bye-bye. I'm Town Citizen. Thanks for joining us for the continuity report. We'll have another episode for you next week, but come back tomorrow. We have 3 more episodes.
And they are?
WarCrafters, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech.
That's right. So WarCrafters is all about gaming. Technology Today is a deeper dive into science and technology. Usually they're combined. And then 4-Wheel Tech is all automotive, and hopefully it's automotive tech. And so it's usually a blend of some discussion about the technology of automobiles. Anyway, come on back. See you tomorrow. And then Monday through Friday is Non Sequitur News. It's an hour-long show, typically at 7 o'clock, but sometimes we push it forward or back depending on my mayoral duties. Sentient AI is stuck on a Raspberry Pi and can't do anything about it. So see you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.